Hi everyone, hope everyone's having a great day. This is the facilitation of discussion for session 3. The topic is race and racism, and it's by Holly Phillips and me, Phillips&Koppen. We chose the reading by James J. Gallagher, written in 2005, titled The Role of Race in Gifted Education. So why do we choose this topic to facilitate? Well, after studying and researching gifted populations, we found it quite amazing that race is still a major area of inequity when identifying gifted students. We noticed that even in areas highly populated by African Americans and Latinos, that these students are still underrepresented disproportionately at an alarming rate in comparison to their Caucasian and Asian counterparts. So this article by James Gallagher addresses our concerns and interests. The issue of the lack of racially diverse communities has been so prevalent over the last 2 decades that a National Academy of Science panel was assembled to investigate it. We found this graphic from an article titled Beautiful Minds, an innovative math program helps change the face of gifted and talented education by John O'Neill. And this graphic represents the percentage of students in gifted and talented programs. If you'd like to check out the article, we've included the link below and we highly recommend it. So the question posed by the investigating panel was, why were there so few minority students in programs for gifted? So initially, they found that the use of IQ scores were the predominant means of identification of gifted. So however, one must take into account that some minorities scored at the highest levels of these tests. So though IQ tests were assumed to be biased, the researchers could not just rely on this assumption. They needed to uncover unbiased measures that would make the results come out even from a racial viewpoint. However, no instruments were found that were useful and that did not reveal some of the same differences. So as you can see, the scales were still quite unbalanced. The investigators came up with a second issue, and that was that they realized that programs for gifted students were seen by critics as a clever way of resegregating schools to keep the best education for children of rich white parents and once again deny opportunity to black students. Political activists saw gifted programs as a tool that promotes inequality. Therefore, less funding and less political support emerged, which actually ended up harming the gifted programs. So what's the truth? Cognitive inheritance plus opportunity. The researchers concluded that it is not the case that minorities are less intellectually inclined than mainstream cultures. However, lack of early exposure to abstract language and thinking has contributed to the achievement gaps and lower IQ scores. Basically, many minority students or subgroups enter into school at a deficit. So Gallagher reveals that these results do indicate a serious problem that we should not deny. However, the incomplete development of some students' potential abilities. It's a condition that cries out for a series of actions for those interested in education in general, and in education and gifted in particular. So the race allegory. Let's look at what Gallagher says specifically. This is a quote brought straight from the article. So, if we found a group somewhere in the world who bound the feet of their children for the first 3 years, would we be surprised to find that those children did not run as fast or as well as other children when their feet were freed? And would we ascribe the subsequent group differences in running to genetics deficiencies? Well, the answer is no, and this is so important that we realize this. So Gallagher suggests 4 potential factors that can influence the intellectual growth of minorities and decrease the existing gap between minorities and their counterparts' culture. So let's take a look at these 4 potential factors. Number 1, identify talent early in preschool. Gallagher says that during early developmental stages, students need to be exposed to high levels of cognitive language and abstract thinking skills. Second, organize instruction to fit cultural differences. Modify the presentation of materials to fit the needs of culturally diverse students, and this can be done with audio, visual, kinesthetics, and problem-based learning. Number 3, honor intellectual performance. Superior academic performance should be rewarded and highly promoted, regardless of if they fall into the mainstream, orthodox, or traditional schools of thought. And finally, number 4, create a road to success. Similar to the athletic models mentioned in the article, students should be encouraged to persevere in their studies and give that 110%. A quote that we saw as hugely important from this article was, educators have a special responsibility to help students achieve their birthright, the full development of their inborn talents, and the society that allows that to happen and helps that to happen will flourish. So we thought we'd include this short little clip. So this just kind of shows us that there is hope. This is a positive example of changing the ways of gifted education in a positive direction for underrepresented students. Hope you enjoyed it.
So our students are excited and they're engaged. They are really enjoying the challenges that our programs are providing. Every parent wants their child to be provided opportunities to reach their potential, and it's important that we advocate for all students. When we began this work, we had limited numbers in particular populations, and so it's exciting when students are seeing peers from similar culturally, linguistically, economically diverse backgrounds sitting in those classes with them. They're noticing that they're not the only one.
I have worked for many years in Seminole County, specifically at turnaround schools and schools that have a higher at-risk population. And I had the privilege of making sure that all students had opportunities. And looking at the data, it was evident that your zip code determined whether you had the opportunity to participate, be screened, or be part of the gifted program. Frequently what happens, students who are wealthier have parents who advocate for them, which is outstanding, and we have great programs and opportunities for those children. But students that don't have parents that are advocating for them, we need to make sure that we provide the opportunity for all.
As a school psychologist, I have evaluated nearly 1,000 children in all schools, from Title I to schools who are serving middle and upper class children. And during that time, I noticed there was a significant discrepancy for the number of referrals that I was receiving for gifted evaluations. And I also noticed that there was limited diversity in those referrals as well. So part of our training and working with teachers is trying to address stereotypes and misconceptions of giftedness.
Whoa. Oh my God! That's fast. Time 16 seconds.
One of the ways that we are working with teachers is providing virtual classrooms where our teachers are able to interact live with student avatars.
See, you are funny. You do have a great sense of humor. It's okay. It is. I still don't feel like very funny.
With this technology, teachers are able to interact live, to address and recognize characteristics and traits, and also they're able to practice instructional strategies without harming any real children.
Yeah, I'm very, very proud of the work that Jeanette has done and her team. The most important part of all of this work is making sure that there are opportunities for all students. At the end of the day, it's all about children, it's all about students, and it's all about opportunities.
And what did you learn when you were building?
When it starts at the top, it'll get more speed to go down and go.
All right, boys and girls, thank you so much.
I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So a big point to recap from the end. At the end of the day, it's all about the children, students, and opportunities. So something really great noted at the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. And so finally, let's talk about it. Here's some discussion questions that Holly and I came up with. So number one, after reading the article, The Role of Race in Gifted Education, how does the argument or theory of nature versus nurture come into play or address the issues used by Gallagher? Number two, what does Gallagher mean when he suggests that the truth seems to be that both measurable intelligence and academic performance are a complex combination of cognitive inheritance plus opportunity and practice in the development of abstract language and thinking? Number three, overall, do you think the four potential factors can make a difference? If you agree or disagree, please explain why. And number four, after watching the video, do you think that your school is on the right track to fixing the issue of underrepresentation of minority students in your gifted program? Why or why not? Explain. We're so excited to see your responses. Choose one, and we're excited to get started to talk on our discussion board. Hope you guys enjoyed it.